Welcome and good afternoon. This is Kamish Orr, and we are back for another game in the Best of the Decades tournament. This is the 1930s. As you see, we are in the real opening round here for the tournament. We have the best five teams of the National League and best five teams of the American League battling out to see who will be crowned the victor. We did have a play-in round. That was a best of five series. Now we are in the actual opening round, and from here on out, it is best of five series to start with at least. And the losers, though, it's a double elimination bracket, so the losers will at least get another chance to make it back to the championship. We are using season ticket baseball. I should mention that. And as always, you can head over to baseballmaelstrom.com to follow the action. What happened earlier today is that the Washington Nationals, or Senators, they were actually officially known as the Nationals, believe it or not, for much of the time that people referred to them as the Senators. But the names were used interchangeably. In any event, Washington took down the Yankees yet again. This is the second time that the Yankees have lost it in the ninth inning. And this time was in heartbreaking fashion once again. Yankees did come out with a run in the first, thanks to a single and an error by Goose Goslin on the throw back to the infield against Lefty Stewart. But then Lefty Stewart, after allowing those 3 hits in the first inning, only allowed 2 more hits heading into the ninth. Meanwhile, Lefty Gomez took a shutout into the ninth inning himself, but was just barely holding on to a 1-0 lead. And then in the ninth inning, walked the leadoff batter, Goose Goslin, and allowed a single to Joe Cronin. And that's when they brought in Russo. The Yankees brought in Russo to try to close the door. Fred Schulte popped up, but then Russo walked the next 2 batters, including walking in a run when he walked Dave Harris, the tying run. He did get Ossie Bluge to strike out, but then Luke Sewell hit a 2-run single to put Washington up 3-1. Now, heading into the bottom of the ninth, the Yankees were looking for some magic of their own after Joe DiMaggio grounded out. Charlie Keller walked, and Bill Dickey had an easy grounder in the infield, but Joe Cronin bobbled it to extend the inning. Then Joe Gordon walked to load the bases up. They brought in Bobby Burke, a reliever of their own. Babe Dahlgren actually hit a deep sac fly that scored Charlie Keller and moved Bill Dickey up a spot. And so with runners on the corners, a tying run at third base, it all came down to Frankie Crosetti, who grounded out to end the game. So the Yankees, who came into this as the number 1 seed in the American League, some say the 1939 Yankees were the best team of all time in Major League Baseball, but they are down 2-0 here against Washington in the first round. But today, we are playing the other American League game between the 1931 Philadelphia Athletics and the 1935 Detroit Tigers. Last time these two teams played, the Tigers rallied for 4 runs in the 8th inning to top Philadelphia 4-2. So Philadelphia would be looking to correct that and tie this series up. And so here is the setup of what we have. I've already rolled the weather here, and this 23, let me pull up, we're at Shibe Park here, 23, and it's an evening game, made it 79 degrees, so a warm game for September, 79 degrees, but not enough to make any adjustments to the deep drive chart. And then we found out 15 here is overcast, so we had an overcast day, which doesn't affect anything really. And the 15 here means that the wind is blowing in from right. So balls hit to right and center I have a -1 on the deep drive chart. But that's where we stand. It is September 8th, and let's take a look at the lineups. So Detroit, the visiting team, will have Pete Fox leading off playing right field, Mickey Cochran catching and batting second, Charlie Gehringer hitting third and playing second base, Hank Greenberg in the cleanup spot at first base, Goose Goslin batting fifth in left field, Billy Rogel playing shortstop and batting sixth, G. Walker batting seventh and DHing. I should mention that both teams are using the DH, even though I do realize that there was no DH back then. JoJo White batting eighth in center field, and Marv Owen in the number 9 spot at third base. Pitching for the Detroit Tigers today will be Schoolboy Rowe. Rowe was 19-13 with a 3.69 ERA back in 1935. So on the Philadelphia side of things, they will be leading off with Max Bishop at second base, followed by Mule Haas batting second in center field. Mickey Cochran, yes, Mickey Cochran again, is catching and batting third. Al Simmons in the cleanup spot in left field. Jimmy Fox batting fifth at first base. Bing Miller will be batting sixth at right field. Jimmy Dykes batting seventh at third base. Shortstop will be Dib Williams batting eighth. And finally, Eric McNair will be DHing this game. And pitching for the Philadelphia Athletics is Rube Wahlberg. So you may have noticed Mickey Cochran, his name showing up for both teams. It's because Cochran, of course, played for the 1935 Tigers and the 1931 Athletics. So he's the starting catcher for both of these teams today. Now I have my little cheat sheets here ready to go. My defense cheat sheets, I should say. So the defense cheat sheets are ready to go. You can see those down below, and I'm using ball score to score the game. So I believe we are ready for the first pitch. So Pete Fox steps in against Rube Wahlberg. By the way, this is only about the 15th game I've played of season ticket baseball. I always mention this, but I will mention it again. You see me make mistakes along the way, well, we'll just chalk that up to umpire mistakes. Because, yeah, it may happen. I may miss stuff, especially a live play like this. Anyway, here we are with the first pitch. 4:15. 4:15 is going to be an easy grounder to shortstop. Williams over to Fox for out number 1. Mickey Cochran steps to the plate. Cochran is 1 for 4 so far in the tournament. 5:15. That's a defense back to the pitcher, and he's going to ground that or field that one cleanly. And he throws over to Fox for out number 2. 2 grounders, 2 easy ground balls to start the game here. Charlie Gehringer here. 301. 301, and he strikes him out. It's the first strikeout, of course, for Rube Wahlberg. And a 3-up, 3-down inning. We head to the bottom of the first. And Max Bishop steps to the plate against Schoolboy Rowe. Right, 133. 133 redirects to 333, and that's a fly out to left. Goslin ranging under that one and hauls it in for out number 1. Brings up Mule Haas. Mule Haas is 3 for 4. He was 3 for 4 in game 1. 489. 489 is almost, well, it would have been a deep drive against a lefty. 489, though, is a deep fly out to center field. And White is under that one for out number 2. So the other Cochran steps to the plate. 2 down, nobody on. 5:45. That's a defense check to second. And he scoops that one up. Gehringer over to Greenberg for the third out. And the Athletics also go up 3 down here. Speaking of Greenberg, he steps to the plate here in the second inning. 221. 221, and Greenberg's a righty, and he struck him out. That's 2 straight strikeouts for Rube Wahlberg. Brings up Goose Goslin, who is 1 for 4 on the series, or on the tournament. 649, we have a first stadium check here. 649 is going to be a ground ball to first. Fox flips it to Wahlberg, and that's out number 2. Billy Rogel steps to the plate. 572, and that's hit to Al Simmons out there in left field, and he has plenty of room for that one. And Rube Wahlberg has retired the first 6 batters he's faced so far. So far, pretty quiet there. Al Simmons steps to the plate against Schoolboy Rowe. 443. And here's our first base hit of the game, as that one's in the gap in left field. Simmons pulls into second base, standing up. And so far, we have Philadelphia threatening here in the second inning with a leadoff double. Brings Jimmy Fox to the plate. First, we should check to make sure Al Simmons is not going anywhere. I do use the auto manager for those choices. So Jimmy Fox, 550. And that is going to be a grounder to third base. Owen looks Simmons back and throws to Greenberg for out number 1. Bing Miller steps in. He was 3 for 4 in game 1. 294. That is going to be a deep drive to left field. 9 plus 4 is 13, and blowing in from right doesn't change that. So 13 on the deep left is not going to be deep enough. It's going to be an easy fly out to left field. And Simmons will have to hold up at second base. So Jimmy Dike steps in. He was 1 for 3 in game 1. 244, and he strikes him out. That's the first strikeout for Schoolboy Rowe. Came at a great time here, and so Philadelphia does get 1 hit, but not able to do any real damage there. And we head to the top of the third as G. Walker steps in against Rube Wahlberg. If I mispronounce any names, let me know in the comments. A lot of these players are from they are all from the 1930s. So I'm not as familiar with the name pronunciations other than the main stars and such. 436. And that is going to be, let's see here. Rube Wahlberg is a lefty. 436. He is going to pop out to short. Dib Williams under that one and hauls it in for out number 1. JoJo White steps to the plate. 434. And that's going to be an easy grounder to second base. Bishop over to Fox for out number 2. Number 9 hitter Marv Owen steps in. He was 1 for 2 in game 1. See what he does here. 630 is a stadium check, and visiting team doesn't get any modifiers to that. 630 is an easy grounder to first, and Fox will take that one himself, and Wahlberg has retired the entire order so far in the first 3 innings. We head to the bottom of the third, still a 0-0 tie here. Dib Williams steps in against Schoolboy Rowe. 585, and that is going to be another base hit. Walker not able to track that one down, and that's going to be a double for for Williams. Once again, Philadelphia with a leadoff double here in the third inning. Dib Williams has a 0 steal, so even that 1 isn't enough. So he's not going anywhere. It brings up Eric McNair. The bunt is not on. He's swinging away. 120. It's going to be a redirect to 320, and that's just beyond the strikeout range here. Runner on second does have the option to try to tag up. Let's see here. It's to right. Fox has a 4-arm, and Williams has a 3. He's not going anywhere. He holds up. That's just a fly out to right here, and Williams does not advance on that one. Does bring up the top of the order, though. Max Bishop stepping in. 4-0-1, and he walks him. So, another base runner here for Philadelphia. They have runners on first and second. 1 down, and Muehlhaus steps to the plate. Detroit hoping to get out of this one. 268. 268, and that is going to be, he's a lefty, so that's going to be a grounder to first. Greenberg flips it to Rowe. That will advance the runners, but they do get the batter. So 2 down. Mickey Cochran steps in, still looking for his first hit of the tournament. 114 as probably a redirect. Yes, 314, and that is going to be a fly out to the left. Goslin on the warning track, but able to haul that one in for the 3rd out. So once again, Philadelphia threatens a little bit, but not able to score a run. And we head to the top of the 4th and the top of the order for Detroit. Pete Fox, 358. 358 is a base hit on the infield. Fox beats that one out, and Detroit has their first base runner of the game. Fox does have a little bit of speed, but I believe it has to be more. Well, 5 speed rating. Let me look here. Steal attempts. Speed rating equals or exceeds catcher arm, which it does in this case. 5 does equal Cochran's arm. So, does he get a lead? It doesn't look like he's going to. 2 plus the steal is only 7. So he is holding up. He is holding up. Fox does not get a good jump here. What is this? Oh, okay. Because the triples here. Okay. If there had been a challenge, there would have been an injection. I see. Okay, so Mickey Cochran steps in. Fox on first. Cochran is swinging away. 119. And that is going to be a grounder to Rube Wahlberg, whose only play is over to first. Fox hauls it in, but that does move the other Fox, Pete Fox, up to second base. So now Detroit has a man in scoring position. Charlie Gehringer steps in. 249, and that's going to be a redirect to 549. That 9 is not going to be very good. The 9 is going to be an error on Bishop. An error on Bishop. So, it's going to be a 1-base error. But, so Detroit threatening here with runners on the corners and just 1 out. And Hank Greenberg steps to the plate. They're going to play for the double play here. Double play depth. 133. And he pops up on the infield. Not what Detroit wanted here, as Bishop has plenty of room. He's under it. Very easy catch. And we have 2 outs. Runners on the corners for Goose Goslin. I should have been looking for a lead for Gehringer here. He was on first. And so I'll just do it now. He's not going to get it. 5 plus steal. He has a steal of 0. So he's not going to take a chance. I'm not sure what I had rolled earlier, but it's okay. So 2 outs for Goslin here. 428. And that's going to be a grounder to second to end the inning. Bishop actually flips to Williams there for the final out of the inning. So Detroit threatens but not able to get anything going. We head to the bottom of the fourth. Still no score here in Philadelphia. Al Simmons steps in against Schoolboy Rowe. 152. That's going to be a 352. 352 is going to be a single to right field. Al Simmons with his second hit of the game. He's not going anywhere. Jimmy Fox obviously not going to be bunting here. He'll be swinging away. So another inning and another leadoff base hit for Philadelphia. Let's see if they can do anything with it. 6:15. Home team gets a 10-point advantage there. Makes it 6:25. But still not enough to do any damage. It's going to be a fly out to White in center. Al Simmons has to hold up. He returns to first base and brings up Bing Miller. 456. 456 is going to be a double. Double to left field. Let's see if Simmons not with a lot of speed. But Goslin's arm isn't that great either. Let's see, runner advance. There is a 1 out. So with 1 out, maybe runner advance, maybe runner speed equals or exceeds fielder's arm, which it does. It equals. So we're going to go down here to challenge. I believe he's going to make it. 15 plus his speed, that's 18. 10 plus arm is only 13. So Simmons is going to round third and score on that double from Bing Miller. Make sure there's no overthrow or anything like that. 6 is greater than the fielding rating. What is the fielding rating of Goslin? Fielding is 7, so it's not greater. So it's just no overthrow or anything there. But still going to be enough to score the runner. So we have our first run of the game here as Philadelphia takes a 1-0 lead on the double. Miller's not going to go anywhere. We still only have 1 out and brings up Jimmy Dykes, who struck out in his last at bat. 377. Would have been that's a double play ball, but of course not going to get a double play here. But Miller is looked back as Owen throws over to Greenberg for out number 2. Miller holds up at second. Dib Williams, 2 outs and a runner on second still. 438. 438, and that's another grounder. This time to short. And Rogel with an easy play to first for the third out, but not before Philadelphia scores the first run of the game. They carry a 1-0 lead here into the 5th. Rogel stepping in against Wahlberg. 578. That is going to be a base hit. Simmons not able to get to that one. And Rogel rounds first and is in safely with a single. He's not going anywhere. G. Walker steps in. 282. And that's going to be deep or high enough for a deep drive. Deep to left. 11, 16. So we have a 16 on deep to left. And that ball is just over the wall for a home run. So Walker puts Detroit in front with their first 2 runs of the game here with the 2-run homer. And just like that, Detroit has taken the lead here in the 5th inning. JoJo White, 438. It's an easy grounder to second base. Bishop over to Fox for out number 1. Crowd's quiet here at Shibe Park. Marv Owen steps in against Wahlberg. 263. He's a righty. That's going to be a fly out to right field. And that's out number 2. 2 down, nobody on for the top of the order, Pete Fox. 147. 147 is a pop-up on the infield. Bishop under that one for the 3rd out, but not before Detroit takes the lead here, 2-1. We head to the bottom of the 5th. Eric McNair steps in, 564. And Rogel has an easy play at that one. We have 1 down. Back to the top of the order for Philadelphia. Max Bishop. 431. 431. And he walks him. Bishop with his 2nd walk of the game. And let's see here. Speed of 3. Nope, he's not going to go anywhere. Mule Haas steps in. 623. That becomes a 633 on the stadium card, which probably isn't going to be high enough, and it is not high enough. All right. So they will get the force out at 2nd here on a 4-6 play. And Haas will be on first base now. Once again, he's not going anywhere. Mickey Cochran steps in. He's 0 for 2 today. 687, that's going to be a 697, probably going to be something. And he walks him. So 2 walks here in the 5th inning for Rowe. Al Simmons trying to do some damage here. 2 out, though. Runners on 1st and 2nd. 418. And that's not going to get it done as Rogel flips to Gehringer here for out number 3, 6-4. So that takes us to the 6th. Wahlberg not going to have to look at any fatigue yet. Cochran steps to the plate. 135 is another pop-up. Bishop under this one. And that's going to be the first out of the inning. Gehringer steps in here, 379. And an easy grounder. Fox takes this one to the base himself. 2 down for Greenberg. 246. He's a righty, so 246 is going to be a 566. And Williams is going to bobble this one. So that'll be an error charged to Williams and puts another base runner on for Detroit. It's a 2nd error of the game here for Philadelphia. Let's see if Goslin can do anything with it. Greenberg is not going anywhere. Goslin 0 for 2 today. 319. A little bit of a deeper fly out, but plenty of room there in center field, and that will be the 3rd out of the inning. We head to the bottom of the 6th. Jimmy Fox will step in. This will be the last inning for Rowe before he's subject to fatigue. 583, and an easy fly out to center here. White under it. 1 out. Bing Miller steps in. He had an RBI double in his last at bat. 554. 554, and another ground out. Or a ground out to 3rd here. As Owen throws to Greenberg for 2 out. Or for the 2nd out. Jimmy Dykes steps in. Another ground out, this time to Gehringer, and that is going to be 3 up, 3 down here in the 6th inning. Philadelphia goes down quietly. We head to the 7th. Rogel will lead off. He led off in the 5th when they scored their 2 runs. 565, and another, that's going to be another error on Williams. 3rd error of the game for Philadelphia. 2nd for Williams. It's not what you need to see here. Rogel is not going anywhere. G. Walker steps in. He homered in his last at bat. 439. 439. This time he is going to pop it up. Williams under it for out number 1. JoJo White steps to the plate. He is 0 for 2 and with 2 ground outs to second. 472, and this time he pops it up to third. Dykes in foul territory, but hauls it in. And we have 2 out. Marv Owen, he's 0 for 2 this game. 410. It's a ground out to short. Williams fields this one cleanly and flips over to Bishop. It's a 6-4 play. So the error does not hurt them this inning. We're facing Rowe will face the bottom of the order for Philadelphia, the bottom 2 batters at least. Dib Williams has made 2 errors today. He did have a double in his first at bat this game. 283. That's a deep drive. He's a righty. That's a deep to left. 16. Oh boy. It's going to be 21. Deep to left 21. Deep to left 21. And Williams gets that one over the fence. And just like that, we have a tie ball game here. Williams making up for his miscues with a clutch home run here to tie the game in the 7th. Rowe now has 1 level of fatigue. Facing Eric McNair, number 9 hitter for Philadelphia. 683 plus 10 for home, plus 10 for that level of fatigue. 683 is going to be a single. It's 1 more level of fatigue for Rowe. And there is some activity in the Detroit bullpen here as Max Bishop steps in. McNair, not any speed or stealing threat here. And Max Bishop, who has walked in his last 2 at-bats. 668, that's going to be more trouble. It's going to be 698. And that's another walk. So Bishop walks for the 3rd straight time. And we have runners on first and second with nobody down. Rowe may have 1 more batter left in him, as he has 3 levels of fatigue. Mule Haas, 462, and that's going to be another base hit. That's a double to right field. Once again, Bishop is going to challenge. Oh no, this is Fox in right. He's not going to challenge Fox's arm. But that double will score a run and put Philadelphia back on top. And that's the last batter that Rowe is going to face here in the game. So as Rowe allows 4 straight base runners, one of them a home run, another RBI, to let Philadelphia get ahead here. So let's take a look at Detroit. Rowe pitches 7 innings. And Detroit will look to bring in who's going to give them probably Vic Sorrell in this case, because he has a little bit better stamina. All right, so Vic Sorrell will come in here. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. So no fatigue for him yet. But we have runners on second and third. Nobody out. Mickey Cochran stepping in. Playing straight up here, 282. And that's going to be a deep right field 18 -1. So deep right field 17. And Cochran just gets that one over the right field wall. And suddenly this game is getting out of hand. As Philadelphia takes a 6-2 lead with 5 runs here in the 7th inning. Al Simmons steps in. Nobody on base now. Oops. 422. And that's going to be another base hit as Philadelphia continues to pour it on here. Jimmy Fox steps to the plate. Oh. 1. I think it has to be lower than the steal. Let me look here. Steal attempts. D20 rating is lower than the steal rating. And the steal rating here is a 1, so it can be lower than a 1. He's not going anywhere. Jimmy Fox. 618. Will be 628. That's not going to be high enough to do any real damage here. 628. But he is being held on. So that's going to be a single plus. Unfortunately, 628 hit to first base. And a single plus moves Simmons up to second base. So another base hit for Philadelphia here. Detroit just trying to get out of this inning at this point, as Philadelphia's put 7 straight batters on base. 138. 138. And that's another base hit, this time to left field. That's Goslin in left, and Simmons has a 3, so he's going to challenge here. $17.20 is going to be greater, so it's going to be another RBI, as Simmons is going to score from second. Fox has a 3, and these numbers are not going to be high enough, or excuse me, low enough for him to take the base. So Jimmy Dike steps in, the 9th batter this inning, as Sorrell is just getting hammered here himself. In fact, let me look at the rules here, because I believe... Where are the optional rules? Getting blown up. Relievers become vulnerable to fatigue after they've allowed a number of runs equal to their stamina rating. So, he's allowed 2 runs, which is equal to his stamina rating. He is subject to fatigue, but they're going to leave him in to try to get an out. There is activity in the bullpen, though. 5, 4, 6, and he's not going to get an out here, as that one just gets by Gehringer at second base. To center field. It's not going to be enough to score, but it's going to load the bases. And we have to insert a bat around here, as Dib Williams, who started all of this off with a home run as the first batter, will face Sorrell, though... Let's see, he's subject to fatigue. He has 1 level of fatigue. He'll face Williams, but this may be it. 3-11. And he strikes out Dib Williams. It's just what he needed here. So Eric McNair, he'll face one more batter. 647. Plus 20, 667. This is going to be it for Sorrell, as that's a 2-base single. Single plus plus is a long single. All runners advance 2 bases. And this game is way out of hand at this point. Does get them back to the top of the order. Still only 1 out. And that's going to be it for Sorrell as he pitches just a third of an inning. But just gets absolutely hammered. They're going to bring in Roxy Lawson, who is probably the best reliever on the bench. He did pitch yesterday. But is not fatigued. And he will face off against Max Bishop, who has walked his last 3 times at bat, including this very inning. Still runners on the corners. They're going to play at double play depth, hoping to get out of this one. One more run really isn't going to make that much of a difference. 468. 468. And that's just what they need. 463 double play. 463 double play. That will get them out of the inning, but not before 8 runs score. And Philadelphia takes a 9-2 lead into the 8th inning. The home crowd going crazy here. Rube Wahlberg is still in there against Pete Fox. The game well in hand at this point. 232 against the right. That's going to be a pop up to short, and Williams is under this one for out number 1. We'll see if Detroit can mount any kind of comeback here. 290. Well, that's going to be a deep drive. Deep to right. 7 plus 3 is 10 minus the 1 for the wind is a 9. Deep to right, 9. Oh, and that is the only out in the middle of base hits. So Cochran flies out to right. Things are just not turning Detroit's way now after that big shift in momentum. 116, and that's a grounder back to the pitcher. Wahlberg throws over to Fox, and we have a 1-2-3 inning. That's not what Detroit needed here. So we head to the 8th. Could be the last inning here for Roxy Lawson, as Philadelphia will not need a bat in the bottom of the 9th if they hold this lead. Muehlhaus steps in. He had the RBI double last inning. 104 is going to be a 304. He strikes him out. Haas watches strike 3 go by. And Mickey Cochran steps to the plate. Cochran with the brutal 3-run homer in his last at bat. 481. This time he flies out deep to center. White on the warning track, but has room. And that's 2 outs. Al Simmons steps to the plate. He is 3 for 4 today. 421. And that's another base hit. Simmons 4 for 5 and keeps the inning alive. He's not going anywhere. Jimmy Fox steps in. He's 1 for 4 today. 144. And he walks him. Philadelphia threatening again here in the 8th. Bing Miller, 2 for 4 with 2 RBI. 227. 227 is going to be 427, a redirect. And that will end the inning here, as that's a ground ball to Owen, who throws over to Greenberg for out number 3. We head to the 9th. Rube Wahlberg still on the mound, not fatigued yet. He'll face off against Hank Greenberg. Could be it for Detroit. 473. Greenberg with a leadoff single to give Wahlberg his first level of fatigue here. He's not going anywhere. Goslin steps to the plate. It's just the 4th base hit for Detroit. 547. That's a high number, and that's going to be another single this time to right field. Miller's over there. Greenberg will not take the chance because I think it has to be lower than his speed. D20 is lower than the runner's speed. And let's face it, they don't need to risk an out here. First two runners on, though. There's some activity in Philadelphia's bullpen, as Wahlberg now has 2 levels of fatigue. Billy Rogel here, 462. 462. And that's going to clear the bases with a triple in the gap. Triple in the gap here. Rogel 2 for 4 in this game now. And it is 9-4 ball game. Still, Detroit has plenty to do here if they want to get back in this one, but they're doing a good job here so far. That's the 3rd level of fatigue for Wahlberg. And he will probably face one more batter here. They're not playing the infield in. Infield's playing straight up. That runner on third isn't really that important. 288. This is a deep drive to left. An 11. Deep drive to left, 11. And that is another double, or another base hit, I should say. And that will be all for Wahlberg. So Rube Wahlberg will exit the game, having pitched 8 solid innings before things have blown up on him in the 9th. So they get 8 innings out of Wahlberg. And let's see who they bring in relief. Well, it's not going to be Waite Hoyt. He had no relief. Well, he did have a little bit of relief work. Only a couple of games, though. Oh, they'll bring in Hank McDonald. Hank McDonald will get his first action of the tournament. And he comes in here. Hank McDonald. Still nobody out, though. 9-5 is the score. JoJo White steps to the plate. We have a runner on second base. Hank McDonald gets to work. 397. 397 is a double play, but would have been a double play ball. In this case, Williams looks back Walker before flipping to Fox for the first out. They just need 2 more outs at this point. Walker remains on second base. And Marv Owen steps in. He's 0 for 3 today. He will hit away. 250. 250. And he's a righty. This is a grounder back to the pitcher. McDonald will flip that one to Fox. And I believe the runner will advance. Is it in? It's in one of these charts. Is it in this one? Yep. Unforced runner at second holds on not on a 1-3, so he's going to advance on this one. But again, that runner is basically meaningless. Philadelphia just looking for outs at this point, and they only need 1 more. They face McDonald face off against the top of the order here, Pete Fox. See if Pete can keep their hopes alive. 219. 219 is a redirect of 419. And that is going to be the ball game. Pete Fox grounds this one to Williams. Williams over to Fox at first to end the game. Not before we had some heroics. A little bit of a comeback drive with 3 runs there in the 9th inning for Detroit. But all in all, comes up short. So Rowe will get the loss as he allowed a couple of those base runners. He allowed the tying home run to Williams, and then 3 base runners that all scored. Wahlberg picks up the win. We don't have anybody with the save. This game was out of hand at that point. If we had to give a player of the game, Wahlberg could have gotten it other than kind of blowing things at in that last inning. 3-run homer from Cochran. Maybe that deserves it, but he was only 1 for 4 this game. Bing Miller was 2 for 5 with 2 RBI. Dib Williams is 2 for 4 with that leadoff home run that tied it in the 7th. And then, of course, we have Al Simmons, who was 4 for 5. I guess we give it to Al Simmons, who was 4 for 5. He didn't drive any runs, but he did score twice. 4 for 5 is a pretty good performance. So, Philadelphia does what they need to do to tie the series back up at a game apiece. That's where we will leave things if we head back to the tournament bracket here. Let's take a look at the tournament bracket. That will give Philadelphia a win here to even the series at 1 game apiece. And the next 2 games will be the National League games. We'll have the 1935 Cubs playing the 1939 Reds. They're up 1-0 in that series. And we have the 1934 Giants, who have a 1-game lead on the 1931 Cardinals. Neither of those games will be broadcast, by the way. I believe the next game that I broadcast will be a payoff pitch game because I'm waiting for opening day before I start my payoff pitch season 2, payoff pitch league season 2. That will be, for those who are unfamiliar, that's 3 Hall of Fame teams from the American and National Leagues, and 1 team of non-Hall of Famers in the American and National League fighting it out. So we have 4 American, 4 National League teams in a third of a season, basically, a 54-game season, to determine who's better, Hall of Famers or non-Hall of Famers. Well, it's one of the answers, I guess one of the questions that we answer. So be watching for that one. I'll probably broadcast the first game of that. That will be my the next game that you'll see on the channel. I haven't really broadcast games on a regular basis before, but figured I would do that for a little change of pace. And I know a lot of you like to see games being played and how people play them. And so I want to thank you for coming and watching this. I will be continuing, of course, Season Ticket Baseball, Best of the Decades Tournament 1930s in the future. But I'm also going to mix in some of the payoff pitch once the Major League Baseball season starts. Why did I wait for that point? Because it could affect players that are on the teams based on retirements and such. In any event, I appreciate you watching. Leave some comments if you'd like. Head over to baseballmaelstrom.com to follow the action. And until next time, have a great evening.